have a short setup I was interested in this morning, but as you can see, I got blown out by the magic crude bus. Interesting what's happened here, though, eh? We had this double bottom come in on the crude. I was shocked. I woke up and crude was like crude was down like $7 or something like that. Just an absolutely horrendous amount of money. And we started to get a little bit of a counter trend rally. And so I was thinking, okay, well, up against resistance, channel high. That was a 2.618. Well, it looked to me like a legit place to look for a short shot. So you can see, stepped in and actually worked a nice offer right in the reload zone. So I did everything in textbook and boom, lost money like a pro. Way to go, Brian. This is why they always say there's no such thing as a bad trade, because even here we can learn from this. I mean, first and foremost, did I behave appropriately? Secondly, if this didn't work, what does that imply of price? Well, probably going to head up into here. And sure enough, look what's happened. So that's kind of interesting. Now, it'd be interesting as we're heading up into this 4669 to actually start looking for things like divergence. Look at that big MACD div. That looks like it's confirmed. Willie stupid. So really, we could start thinking probably one more push up top here. We start getting M's. We probably actually start thinking about going and taking another shot to the downside. And we could probably also, wherever that ultimate M comes in, there's your profit objective, which ironically enough, and I see this so often, is what's going to end up happening here is the top's going to come in and the market's just going to give these guys who didn't cover this position, it's just going to give them the opportunity to cover it at a scratch. So you're a super trader, of course, you're shorting up here. And also, too, you've often heard me say that what should happen here, and actually maybe I'll let you guys finish this. If we run up and we tag this 4669, then we start stalling out, where should we come back to? We should come right back to this 2.618. Once 4669 to 2.618 is hit, do you start over? You know what? What'll end up happening, right? Is there'll be a war at this level, and you can kind of see it now. Because I think what ends up happening here is that this channel line, right? You can see that channel line. Yeah, maybe it's slightly off. But you can see that's probably going to be support down the road. Right. And notice also, too, there's our buddy, the 50% rule. And you might even argue that really what this is going to be is, if this is a big bull, this is Collins, what would you call this? I guess the pump chaser zone. See how convenient all of that all lines up there nicely? So the guys that shorted here and that are just stubborn as they get released. So you know that there's probably even down in here, right? These are the guys, they're sleeping on the couch right now. They're arrogant as hell, and geez, they're probably going to go gray. They're going to lose, probably put on some weight. They're going to, lose some hair up top. They're going to be pretty stressed out. I mean, who knows how high this goes? My hunch is this thing probably does some, this is probably like a Head and Shoulders that's forming now, something like that, right? And it's because there's so many lips to it. It's just going to drive you crazy as it churns. And then it'll just puke out violently, right? Back, and this is just simply a trend line off of that high and that high. Notice that lines up in there nicely. I mean, maybe the channel comes into play, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe if this sort of scenario plays out, what this really says is I've drawn my channel incorrectly. Maybe we're supposed to go off of something like that. And actually, interestingly enough, based on this, maybe the channel should be. Yeah, that's a tough one, because that looks like a pretty important pivot, but it could be anywhere in there. And interesting too, right? I just didn't have those 3 higher lows to set up that bot. So I'm a little surprised that this market has actually moved up into these levels on such a clean ABCD, eh? That does surprise me, because I mean the bot just didn't set up here at all. But anyway, to answer your question, what I would expect here on the revisit of the 2669 is we sort of ask ourselves, okay, now what do we want to do? If we do reject off of 4669, and we might not. I mean, what's the next level? If this thing just does not M out, what's the next level? The next level is, oh boy, all the way up there, 877. I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody interesting how when we drew this uptrend line off of these lows, right? Could we have the market race up here and tag that from the other side? Sure, it happens all the time. Kind of scary, eh? Probably even more like something like that. It's possible. In fact, you might even argue that it isn't the case now, right? We want to see at least a 33% retracement. This thing might be forming some sort of base to actually do another ABCD. Although I will say, from my experience in the market, very rarely do you have 3 of these things in a row work. Usually what ends up happening is the first one works, and then you see this and you go, all right, right on, this one's going to work. And then the darn thing goes up, and then and it doesn't ever get up there. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So my response to your question, what do you think's gonna happen? I think if we do get like a big old M, I mean maybe this is the M that's happening now, and a rejection, right? And the market actually tells us, look, I'm done. I think you come back to this call-in pump chaser zone 2.618. And then we have to really decide at this point what we're going to do. And can you kind of see how this might actually be like a head and shoulders top? What looks something like that. And you might actually have a failure from here. And if we fail from the 2.618, where are we likely to go? The answer is usually right back to the original breakout. So I don't know how this consolidation is going to go. If you subscribe to Colin's newsletter, he would say that if you were a bull and you wanted to get in on this bull move, you really should wait for his pump chaser zone. Don't get too excited. And frankly speaking, I think that's solid. We're going to have to see how it acts. And if we do fail from here, then it probably implies that we go right back down to the original bottom, that 100.